Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Friends from Work. I'm Tom, this is Sean, and on today's episode we are going to be reviewing Barbie. Before we do that, do us a favor, leave a like right now, subscribe down below, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, links are on the screen and down below.
Spoiler alert.
Dude, a spoiler alert, how you changing it?
It's big time. Barbie, biggest movie of the year.
It is, honestly. Obviously, guys, we're going to, this video is going to drop first before Oppenheimer, but obviously we're going to do back-to-back because there's such a big movie weekend in general, just speaking about movie history in general. I'll start it off because I have some points I want to bring up. I know Sean does too. I'm actually curious about this conversation because I think it can go one of two ways. I was pleasantly surprised. It was emotionally captivating as like it grinded my gears, but then didn't. You had to sit through the whole movie. Obviously, you have to sit through the whole movie to understand the whole story. My like man side was like got triggered in like the first like 30 minutes, like it was bothering, but it was intentional. Yes. But because then you saw like, oh, Ken's on the other side, but it explained both sides. I thought it explained both sides of like the perfect perspective, idealistic.
I agree
world.
there. I do agree that like at some point it comes full circle and like
Yeah.
Ken like says like, oh, this is how it is for men.
Yeah.
Or Ken's or whatever.
Yeah.
You wanna.
And Alan.
Oh yeah, now
Shout out Micah Sarah.
Micah Sarah, yeah, he did a good job.
That was goated. But yeah, no, the story in general was, I think, a decently tasteful. I will say. I think I have some qualms with it, but I feel like that was the natural thing. Everyone's gonna have issues with it, topic wise, to an extent. Like I said, the first 30 minutes or so, first act, I would say, when they were in Barbie Land. Oh yeah, Barbie Land, right? Yeah, Barbie Land. It was like annoying, like but that was intentional. Like they're supposed to be over the top. This is perfect feminism and idealistic world, and then they went to the quote unquote real world, and then Ken picked it up as, oh, this is the perfect world for men. Men do everything, this and that, and it went to the other side of like the perfect the patriarchy. He kept saying it, so it was showing like the I guess you would say the far left and the far right. Would that be the proper?
I wouldn't.
Like,
I guess it like symbolism wise, not necessarily like
not
politics,
directly.
but yes, it was trying to show both ends of the spectrum.
Yes, like where they both have flaws, and I really respect Greta Gerwig for that because I'm not. Obviously, everyone has their own opinions, but she didn't like shy away from either end. Like she accepted both sides. She's like, all right, this side, the side that women will naturally go towards have flaws, and vice versa. Men have some flaws on their side, type of thing. The whole sexism thing, and I think it tied really well together with that underlying tone of the whole film for the most part.
I guess I agree. To interject a little bit, I will say I get that's what they were trying to do, but what I didn't like about that was like they did like Barbie Land was clearly one way. Like they were just in the real world. Like they weren't even like there are some things that are like a patriarchy or whatever you want to call. They were just like in real life. Like they were like there was no over the top where like men were in charge. Or like they showed a bunch of construction workers like who catcalled Barbie, and it's like, is that the same as everybody in Barbie? Like the women being in charge of everything? Like those guys are making $20 an hour, sweating their nuts off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how is that a symbolism of the patriarchy because they said Barbie was hot? Like, that's what that a part I didn't like. Well, like I understand what they were trying to do, saying like, oh, Barbie Land's feminism, like the far, like, oh, if women rule the world, whatever. But and then they go into our world and they're like, oh, this is an example of the patriarchy. And one, I don't really think the patriarchy exists, especially not in the United States. I do think it exists in certain places, but not here. So like that part I didn't like, where they're like, oh, Ken's like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm like, what's awesome? Like that they were like pushing that part. As it goes on, it's a little bit better.
You learn more.
But like I didn't like that part because like I said, Barbie Land's clearly women rule, boys rule, whatever you want to do. It's like then they're just like, oh, the real world where we live in, where like people are just going to school and doing all these things. It's like they're like, oh, that's an example of patriarchy. It's like just living life in the United States is an example of the patriarchy. Yeah,
the two big things I really like what they did too. I'll go with Ken. I'll do Ken first. Was you saw Ken being mistreated, like, and they acknowledge that. I was very surprised that they did that.
I was too, and that they like it starts off where like you realize like he's being mistreated. She says like, oh, I don't even like him at all, and like she's just stringing him along type of thing. So I do agree with you there. That was kind of cool.
That you understood why like he said he fell in love with the whole patriarchy idea, and then like he kind of broke down like towards the end of that's why he went in this whole like emotional thing. Where he's like, this is I have to. It's like you don't. what else am I gonna do? You don't want me type thing. And it wasn't like, oh, F you, Ken. Like, she kind of understood. She's like, you know what? You're right. I have taken you for granted and stuff like that. And I really liked that part a lot, was because how the movie started and how you assume it was going to end, so to speak. That was the last thing I thought was going to happen, was she was going to admit her own fault. And I think it was really cool to see both sides admit their own faults to each other in a conversation. And then also with the mom, I kind of liked it too, because the whole idea was like perfectionism on both ends, right? And the mom was like, can we just have like a regular Barbie like type of thing? So it was really cool to see that perspective too. It wasn't like saying, because Barbie was like, oh, well, we could be doctors, this and that. And then the mom was like, I just want to be a regular person. Just want to spend time with my kid. Like, she wasn't saying like, oh.
I think that, I mean, we are a movie show or YouTube channel, and we end up for whatever reason talking about feminism because it's the whole thing. But like, I think that's what get lost in feminism, where it's like, you're a loser if you just take care of your kids. You want to like love your kids. Like, that's not feminist. Like, you got to go be a doctor and love your kids. Like, things like that. And I like I said, I thought it was a good movie in the sense that it was not shying away from the bad things about pretending like, oh, if just like ladies were in charge, that it would just be like. In reality, like, there's got to be winners and losers. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect 50-50, but it's like, even like I said, we flip it on their head and like girls are in charge, then dudes are going to be miserable. Are you fine with that? Like, I think that's a lot of problem with a lot of the problems, or the problem with a lot of the problems we have amongst ourselves is like, especially like racism. It's like, what do you want to do? Like, black people be in charge and then white people be slaves for 400 years. Like, there's really no good answer. Where it's like, you just at some point kind of got to get over it and make the best out of everything.
Right. Yeah. No, I would say this movie did not shy away at all from the uncomfortable conversations. And I think I got to give her a lot of credit, because I can't really recall a movie like this with such a big name. By the way, this is like Mattel Barbie. Like, they typically, quote unquote, with this huge
Gosling
brand
and Margot Robbie, Will Ferrell, like huge people in the movie too.
Huge brand. They could play it safe, like, oh, it's just a silly Barbie movie. Her got lost in the real world, but no, Greta Gerwig, was like, no, I'm gonna tell the story and tell it harshly. I'd say harshly, right? Or boldly. I don't know. I think boldly.
I think it's just fair. Like,
and so I think she did a really good job with that. But I think I don't want to go too much on that point. Do you have anything else to say?
Like I said, there are some things, like I said, I thought they portraying just regular everyday life in the United States as a patriarchy, I don't think is a fair assessment, because it really isn't. Like, I guess you could say as like at the top it is, but like in your small town, it's not a fucking patriarchy. No. Like, it's not.
Locally,
in your family, it's not your mom. Like, I would say 7 out of 10 families, your mom's in charge.
Yeah.
Like, your mom's the boss. She tells your dad what to do. So it's like, that part's like, I don't like that point where they're like, oh, the patriarchy. And it's like, I would have been fine if they would have like went to Congress, or, you know what I mean, the Senate, or, you know what I mean, and then like actually proved it was, or even like when they're in Mattel and all the bosses are men. It's like, that's cool. That would be a patriarchy. But like some construction workers, you know, catcalling, that's rude and inappropriate, I guess. But it's not an example of the patriarchy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So the comedy was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was. There was a bunch of really fun. Like, Ryan Gosling was hilarious. The one they showed in the trailer, obviously, but it still cracked me up, was like when he's in the doctor's office. He's like, "I would like to do a surgery," and he's like, "Can I speak to a doctor?" She's like, "You are speaking to." She's like, "I am a doctor." He's like, "No, a real doctor." And then he just like walks past her.
Yeah.
It's like,
it was good. And then the with what was his name? Simu Liu, the guy plays Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
The whole beach off.
Oh, yeah,
like, I'll beat you up.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what the hell are they saying? And I realized they were saying beat you up.
Yeah.
Like, that was funny. Yeah, there was a bunch of really funny, like,
this is like a kids movie, not kids movie. It was never advertised.
Movie? I think it was PG-13.
It's PG-13, but I was saying like Barbie's like aimed towards, like you said, I think in Mission Impossible thing that it was more towards like a family. Like, a family could more likely see that versus Oppenheimer. So with a lot of these raunchy jokes, like, and still you can see with your family, I thought it was really cool. It kind of reminded me a lot of like older movies. I can't think of but think of like an older family comedy. You know what I mean? Where like they'd have jokes to the adults.
You know what vibes it gave me of? And Will Ferrell was in it too. Spirited. Kind of felt like that. Where like it's not the same thing, but it's just like
screaming.
No, Spirited with Ryan Reynolds, where like Will Ferrell's the dude, and he's like, I just like where they're doing like the realistic vibe, and it's like a half musical. We did a video on it.
Oh,
the Christmas movie. Like,
I totally forgot.
Will Ferrell was really funny in it.
Yeah.
I thought he was good. What other cameos were? Will Ferrell's not a cameo, but like that's Michael Cera. I thought he was gonna be a cameo, but he kind of like
Michael Cera was so funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
That guy has not aged since what?
John Cena was one of them.
John Cena was so funny. That was amazing. That was so good. Like I said, a lot of the cameos are really good. I knew John Cena was going to be in it. I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't realize. I thought he was going to be a big part. I forgot about it, but no, he was just like that stupid.
Yeah, he was just like a mermaid.
Yeah, and then playing like a little ukulele. Like they played into it a lot, and it looked like honestly everyone on that set looked like they're having a ball. And fun fact, both movies. I think I said this in the last in Mission Impossible, but both movies had the same exact budget. So it was really cool to see how they built this set. Like it just looked so good. Like I was really surprised, and I guess not so surprised, but I was just taken away on how good the sets looked and how they built everything. It felt like it was actually going into a Barbie land. Like there was probably like CGI in the background, so to speak, like the landscape, but it looked like everything was pretty much built to scale. Yeah, what do you guys say? I'm trying to think.
No, like I said, I agree. I thought it was shot very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not wasn't no Oppenheimer, but it was
Right,
it was more
totally
pleasing
different.
than I thought. It wasn't as silly as I thought it was going to be. Much funnier than I thought it was going to be as well. And I thought I was going to hate it more, but like I said, I found myself being like, like Tom said earlier, like like some of the stuff really getting like I mean, if you guys follow us, you know I get triggered with some of this shit. Like, and it kind of came full circle. You're like, all right, fine.
That was intentional.
Yeah, like and it was funny seeing like Ken go into the real world and be like, "Oh man, it's awesome here," and then like Barbie was like, all of a sudden, like, "Oh, I feel like I'm in danger," and Ken's like, "I don't feel that at all."
I'm
like,
respected. She asked me for the time, and then you're like 3 watches on. Like it's ridiculous. There's actually that hoodie where it said, "I am Knuff."
Yeah.
It's actually on sale, so I should buy that.
That's
why I should have bought it. Wear for the podcast. That was so funny.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling was hilarious. He was really funny. He played his role really good.
Yeah, you could tell he had fun.
Yeah.
It was funny because, too, when they're at the end of it, he was like, once I found out horses didn't run the world, I just didn't even care anymore.
He's like, at first I thought, he's like they were ruled by men, and then I thought they were ruled by horses, but then I realized horses were just men extenders. So he's like, he just said like the stupidest shit.
It's so funny. He's like, this is no Barbie's dream. Now this is Ken's Mojo Dojo.
Yeah,
Casa
I wrote that down.
house.
Mojo Dojo Casa House. I bet you they'll be selling some shirts that say that. Shit
I'll buy it.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was really funny, and I like I said again. I think they did a good job of not. It was supposed to be a Barbie movie, but they didn't make it like men suck, and that's what I didn't want the movie to be.
I was so scared of that
because that's just whack message. Like it's cool, do your thing, and but I thought it did a good job of showing like the toxicity of even the Barbie world.
Yeah, both ends. It was good. This was a very fair movie. I would say that.
And like they showed that like some of the Barbies enjoyed being a part of the patriarchy or whatever, like serving their dude and things like that. The girls were like, I like doing that. Like, and I thought that was cool too, where they're like we said earlier, like not everybody wants to be a freaking doctor.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, no, that would say I was very like that took me away because like I said earlier and Sean just said now I was like I was both triggered, but I'm like there's no when I was watching it at first I was like okay whatever, it's gonna annoy me a bit, and it kept going consistently for like 20-30 minutes. I was like there is no way this movie's like this the whole time. So I was like, and once I figured that out in my head when they were doing like the make fun of men, the masculine side, I was like okay, it's gonna flip, like there's no way. And once I saw Ken go to the in the real world, and then he left to come back, I'm like, okay, we're gonna see both ends, and it worked out. I'm trying to think of some good moments. A highlight I want to breach out is Alan, and when he they were like breaking out, and like Michael Cera was like kicking everyone's ass, right? And like the girls are talking in the background, the mom, the daughter, and Barbie, and then Alan's like still just going at it.
Yeah, I didn't think when I saw him initially in the movie, I thought that was like the only time we were gonna see him.
He was the butt of a joke. I thought it was Ken, but like. He was like, everyone's like, oh, that's just Alan. Like he had no character arc at all.
Yeah.
Like that was legit. He was just the butt of a joke every time. He's like, oh, and the pregnant Barbie, that was funny too.
Oh yeah.
And when Wilford walked, I was like, oh god. He's like, oh, I thought we discontinued that. So good.
Will Ferrell was kind of funny. He's always silly.
He's just having fun.
Yeah.
And that lower ranked employee he's like, why are you hugging? Why are you hugging me? He's like, let's just have tickle fest, guys. Like I just want to get up from the office and tickle each other. Let's speak about the numbers, by the way. Worldwide it made over 300 million, then domestically it was like 120 or 150.
155.
Okay, 155.
155. Right.
Okay, yeah, domestically 155. And then worldwide over 300 million, which is more than Guardians opening weekend.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Guardians was like 200 something, which is still really impressive.
Worldwide.
I believe so. Yeah, I would assume so. No way domestically. But possibly domestically.
Oh yeah, possibly.
But I'd say.
Well, we looked up. Wasn't Spider-Man 250 domestically or something? 253 or something.
No
like
Way
that?
Home.
No, the Spider-Verse or whatever.
Oh, was that opening weekend?
Yeah, I thought so. We looked it up because that's what I remember. We were comparing the numbers.
Is it in your notes?
No, I didn't write that down. But I remember saying like I thought what I thought Oppenheimer and what I thought Barbie was going to do, and I thought it equaled 230, and I was kind of basing it on like, oh, only so many people are going to go to the movie theaters. Similar, you know what I mean? Like, I think it did something like over 200. I'm pretty sure, maybe slightly less than that.
Yeah,
but it did 155 open weekend, which I thought was really good.
Insane.
It was a lot of people were talking about it, and again,
the movies were packed. I was shocked. I was shocked because I went Sunday night, and I was like, okay, everyone's kind of died down, everyone's going back. And I went at 6. I was like struggling to find a seat, so there's like these 3 seats right here, and I bought the one right in the middle, so no one sat next to me. So I was like, fuck off, I don't want anyone here. But yeah, no, it was packed. It was packed, and I want to bring this up briefly. I'll discuss this more when we do the Oppenheimer one in a few here, but I told you this off screen. Like, it was hard finding Oppenheimer times more so than Barbie, which I was really shocked about. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I don't know why I brought it up here, but Barbie was super easy. So you had like 40 times for it, and then Oppenheimer had like 5. But the numbers they did, which we'll bring up in the Oppenheimer episode, was actually really bad, and I can't wait to talk my shit in that one because I'm going at Sean's fucking throat. But yeah, what do you, final thoughts, ratings? Because I'm kind of out of everything in my head.
Ratings, I'll give it a 7. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I'm probably never gonna see it again, but it wasn't. I'm guessing the movie's not directed towards me, so I tried, you know what I mean, keep that in mind with the movie. But I thought it was really good, much better than I thought it was gonna be. I think it lived up to the hype. And again, I thought it was funny. Worth the watch. You know what I mean, it's a little annoying with they say patriarchy about 100 times, but besides that, it's still, like I said, funny. Ryan Gosling's hilarious. There are some funny sexism related jokes. That's what I want to get back to. We could joke about all this shit. Yeah. Like, it's our differences, our similarities. We're just joking about it. And we'll figure it out in the middle.
Yeah, I give this about a 7.8, 8.2. It's in between. I've been going back and forth. I said I'll stick with 7.8 because I feel like 8.2 is really high. So yeah, 7.8. Similar reason, because the comedy was really well done. I will say that I laughed a lot, and they did like different things. Like the narrator was like, "quote Don't have Margot Robbie say she's ugly. Next time, cast someone." Like, there's stuff like that. Yeah. So that was that. What else? Oh, you know what? Actually, let me finish my final thoughts, and I want to bring this up with you. This pissed me off, legit. And then also it was a pretty bold thing to do with like I said earlier, the name Barbie Mattel. It's a huge corporation, and with, like Sean said, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Will Ferrell, and Shang-Chi is more B-list. He's probably becoming A-list now, yeah. And that, like, you had a lot of celebrities in this, and it was a pretty brave topic, or pretty hasty topic to bring up. But I think Greta Gerwig balanced it very well. It's a quote-unquote sensitive subject in this very sensitive world now. So I give her all kudos to her for being bold enough to, I mean, it's easy to make fun of men in this climate, but also to be like, all right, the female side also has some flaws too. I'm not going to say we're perfect. There's no such thing as perfectionism. That was pretty much the whole thing. Mm-hmm. No one's perfect, and it's okay to have an average life, which I thought was a pretty good message. And one thing I want to bring up with you, and this kind of annoyed me. This actually very annoying me, but I knew they were gonna fucking do it. Because I remember Margot Robbie brought up, she's like, "Oh, I want everyone in there. I don't want just white Barbies." I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's whatever. I have no issue with that. Except it wins blacks, obviously. No, no, I'm kidding. No, it was the obese Barbie that annoyed me so much. I was like, no, that's not real. The whole point is to be perfect. That bothered me.
Is there a big Barbie?
No,
I'm
there's not.
A big guy, so
I've never seen.
So maybe they just added that one for the
sake of it. That bothered me. I just wanted to bring that up.
Again, I'm a fat person, so
yeah.
They were.
Yeah. No, it bothered me.
Including me.
Yeah, you just wanted to felt. This guy, feminist. But yeah, that is it for this episode, guys. If you guys enjoyed, before you head out, do us a favor, leave a like right now, subscribe down below, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Links are on the screen and down below. Comment what you guys thought of Barbie. Which Barbie do you relate to the most? Which Ken do you relate to the most? Are you Alan? Other than that, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.